Dehancer is a simple color grading tool that will turn your footage from this into this. So when Dehancer reached out a few weeks ago asking to see if I wanted to review it, I was initially a little bit skeptical. I thought it might be another kind of trendy cinematic gimmick, but after doing like some reading and listening to some professional colorists speak on it, I was intrigued, and I'm especially interested when a company offers a way to kind of get around the subscription model that we see so often nowadays. This is, of course, however, an unbiased review. They haven't paid me, they're not reviewing this video first. If you are interested, I have an affiliate code. It's Avery 10, and I'll leave a link in the description in case you decide to purchase. So when we talk about the overall look from many of our favorite films, a big part of that can come from the medium itself, which is obviously actual film, and that's where the image is being captured in a real organic way. Unlike digital, which captures images as pixels, film records it naturally onto the film stock, giving it a more organic kind of textured feel that filmmakers and, more importantly, viewers still typically prefer. Digital cameras, while now incredibly advanced, can offer an extremely clinical, sharp image that's just it's perfect, and sometimes that's not exactly what you want. And this, of course, is where Dehancer comes in. It's essentially an all-in-one color grading tool for Resolve mostly. I know they have tools for Premiere and Final Cut as well. They also have a website and a mobile app, and it's based on decades of research and film emulations, basically, in the laboratory. Now, of course, I'm not a professional colorist. I want to be pretty clear on that. But I have spent quite a lot of time tinkering, kind of seeing what I prefer, what other people prefer in my work, and yeah, I was really interested to try Dehancer. I've been using it pretty heavily for the last couple weeks, and I'm gonna just kind of go through, show you a couple quick clips, show you how I use Dehancer. I'll do a quick color correction as well, but like I said, I'm not a professional colorist, so I'm gonna leave that to the other pros here on YouTube. Okay, so if we open up Resolve here, I'm going to come into the color grading tab, and I've just got a few clips picked out here. And what I usually do is have a node tree that sorry, there's a hummingbird. I have a node tree that I usually just copy and paste, essentially as a power grade between clips. You can see what it looks like right here. And what I'm going to do is just copy and paste that onto this clip, and then I will kind of go through and explain what each node is. So first here is a color space transform, and this is basically going to bring the log footage into DaVinci wide gamut. So here I have Panasonic V gamut and V log, and then the output color space is DaVinci wide gamut and DaVinci intermediate. And then we'll ignore all of these for now. And then this is Dehancer right before my output, and then this is the last node. It's a little bit confusing as to where my output node actually is. Yes, here we go. So you can see this. Sorry, I'm on a laptop and it's hard to get everything fit in here properly. So this is my output node. So I make these two first, and this basically transforms DaVinci wide gamut and intermediate to Rec 709 and Gamma 2.4, which is just the standard delivery color space. And then before that, so right before my output node, I have Dehancer, which we'll go through in just a moment. But real quick, I will show you kind of how I have this set up. So before Dehancer and before my output, I have exposure under one node, and I basically do global HDR exposure corrections here. So maybe the overall exposure needs to come up. That's obviously too much, but maybe I want to raise the highlights a little bit, give it a little more pop. And this clip, of course, is a little bit overdone, but I just want to kind of give you an example. And then here I have 4 parallel nodes, so white balance, This is color wheels, color correction, and saturation. So under saturation, I almost always bring my saturation and the shadows down a little bit like that. I find that gives a nice, pleasing result. Here I might correct the white balance, so maybe I want to make it a little more blue, or cool, sorry. So that looks fine for now. This, like I said, this is just an example. I'm not actually gonna grade this like I would ordinarily. But so here, so if we come to Dehancer now, let me reset this and we'll start from scratch. So to find it, once you've installed it, in OpenFX, I'm just gonna search Dehancer Pro, drag it on, and it's gonna give you this honestly, pretty terrible result. The default, let me see if I can get this a little bigger, Shift F. The default settings are horrendous. I'm gonna just say that. That's like one of my issues so far. They're all way too strong. There is a pretty easy way to get back to like nothing. If you scroll all the way down, there's this little button, disable all tools. So I always start there. And quality, I've changed to high. I don't know what the difference is, but I'm guessing higher is better. And then we're gonna come way back up to the top. We need to change the source to DaVinci Wide Gamut, because that's what the input color space transform changed the color space basically to wide gamut. So here is where we really get into the interesting part. I will kind of expand all of these tools so we can go through one by one. There's a lot in here, but it's not nearly as complicated as it looks. So up top, that was just the color space transform. The interesting part here now is film, and this is where you basically choose your film stock. I really like Vision 3 250D. That's kind of my go-to. It's got a little bit more of a cooler tone than 500T. Oh, here, when you do enable it so you can actually see. So yeah, it's a little more contrasty and cooler than 500T. But I like to start there. And there's this push-pull tool. This is basically based on actual film push-pull, depending on the exposure. I usually leave that where it is, but you can play with it. Film Developer is very fun. We're going to come back to that in just a minute, because right here under Print is where you can choose your print film. Kodak 2383 is the classic Hollywood one. That's usually what I use. Again, this is like a little bit much. You can always bring the contrast down. And the reason I like to have Dehancer in this last node here is because I do Dehancer first, and then I'll come back basically to exposure and wheels and everything. And if I need to like bring the contrast down, I'll do that before Dehancer in the node tree, but after I do my grading in Dehancer, if that makes sense. Okay, so we've got our print film, we've got our film stock, and then under Film Developer here, we can change a lot of this kind of contrast and saturation type. I don't know why that's not doing anything. Oh, right. I always forget to enable things. So you can see that's pretty clear contrast adjustment there. Maybe I'll turn it up a little bit. You can play with the gamma correction. My favorite thing in Film Developer is color boost. I really like simple colors, but like strong saturation. So I'm gonna turn the color boost up. And this clip, like I said, is way stronger than you would probably ordinarily use. I'm just wanting to give you a good example of what the tools do. Film compression, also one of my favorites. We'll enable that, and you can see right away it's brought these highlights down to where it looks a little more filmic. And all of these tools are just going to adjust basically the impact and the white point of what you're adjusting. Expand, I don't usually touch. It's a way to have more control over the white and black points. We already did film, but you can, if you need to change any of the print settings, basically there. Color head, you can mess with the colors. I don't typically do that under this panel, but you can do whatever you might want to do there. We're going to unenable that. Film grain, of course, is important, and I did a little bit of a deep dive into Dehancer's film grain compared to the Resolve film grain, and I don't know exactly what they do. I haven't analyzed it like frame for frame by any means, but at least according to their blog, it's like additive grain or something. It's basically they're actually analyzing each frame and deciding where to put the frame instead of just kind of an overlay like most film grains are. I find that the stock one that it comes with is 35 millimeters. I think it's definitely too strong for most cases. I like the 65, and I like the 65 at ISO 50, and if you want to adjust anything yourself, you just hit custom, and it will bring up this whole panel of different tools here. So you can see if we change the amount, it'll give you crazy, like you can just go absolutely insanely overboard, and it probably won't even play like that, but you can just see it's just like a ridiculous amount. In terms of the presets, I like 65 millimeter. Halation is another good popular one. It's become very trendy nowadays, but I think if you use it within reason, it's nice. The presets, you've got presets, and then there's the custom tool. I usually use custom and kind of tweak it shot per shot depending on the amount of highlights. And same with bloom, it's basically a way to emulate like a mist filter or an older lens. There's different presets and custom, so you can just change all of these depending on the shot. There's so many tools, it's a little bit overwhelming at times, but you can also, sometimes I'll just use like just the color, the film part, and not actually mess with really any of this, and you still get a really pleasing image. And then basically everything below bloom I don't ever touch. Film damage, film breath, and gate weave. Overscan, for example, will give you this like the different crops from different films. So that's that. Film breath, of course. And there's vignette down here as well, which I don't usually use, but it's there if you want it. Let's go pick one more clip real quick just to look at. Oops, not that. How about this one? Get rid of the clips and go into here. So you can see I have the same node tree here basically. Under exposure, maybe I'd come to my curves and the whites, like bring the white point down a little bit, make kind of an S curve there or something. But in Dehancer, we'll come here, open that back up. And if you're wondering how I did this, you can hit Shift F, and that will kind of bring everything away besides the Open Effects panel. So if you're using a plugin like this, it's very handy, especially on a laptop. So again, you can see I usually use 250D, but there's like 500T, Portra. There's like 60 different film stocks, which is just ridiculous. I don't know, Fujichrome. I'll just kind of show you a few different ones. Cinestill, that's a nice one. So again, under Film Developer, this is how it comes default. I like to raise my color boost up quite a bit. And then I oftentimes will lower the saturation in the shadows a little bit to kind of compensate for that, but I feel like it gives a really, really nice look. Maybe I want to bring the contrast up just a little bit more. Give this a really, really punchy sort of look. Again, this is maybe more than I would do ordinarily, but just for the sake of demonstration. So yeah, film compression. See, so with film compression, if there's no harsh highlights, it's not going to do nearly as much. So I might even leave it unchecked there. You can see, I'll show you the different film scans. Glossy paper, I think, is kind of a neutral one. I really like 2383. I think a lot of folks do. Green. Yeah. So again, and all of these tools are going to depend on the shot itself. So if I zoom in here to halation, for example, and I check it and uncheck it, there's these edges are not even that strong, but you can see right there, you start to get a little bit of halation. I would warn not to go overboard though, because it can pretty easily start to look extremely grainy and oversaturated quickly. So like go easy with some of these tools. So there's bloom. Again, there's the before and after. Same, just it kind of softens the edges a little bit. You can see that. Similar to halation a little in some ways, but not so much about the color, more the softness. So here, if we come to this clip, I might, in my exposure here, I might come up and bring the global exposure up quite a bit first, and then I'll come back to Dehancer, Shift F, and then I can go through and kind of see how the colors are looking. And if I turn off Dehancer, you can see I try to keep things kind of subtle, but it gives it a really nice sort of teal and orange look without being over the top. And here, especially again with the film developer, you can really bring out that kind of color in the oranges and the blues here. Here's another before and after. Okay, so after using this for a while, I would say it's awesome. Try not to overdo it, or it can start to become kind of the Instagram filmmaker look, where it's just like grain out the wazoo and halation, like so much halation that you can't even see what's going on. But that being said, if you actually know how to use it and you don't go super crazy, it's very powerful. I think you can do a lot with it. The option to have so many different film stocks is pretty fantastic, though I usually only stick to one or two. All that being said, it's not a magic bullet. I think if you have a terrible shot, it's not going to really do anything for you. It might help a tiny bit, but it's not going to turn like a shot of your friend walking through the trees into the opener for the next dune. You still have to know how to get a good image in the first place. So I just want to thank Dehancer for giving me the opportunity to try their product, and thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.